Hey everybody, Coach MJ here. Wow, that looks really bright. I'm trying to do this on both my personal page and my coaching page because a lot of you guys, when I went live on last Wednesday, y'all didn't hop over to the coaching page. But I think why I thought this would be a good one for my personal page too is this applies in life. It's not just about athletic goals. So I thought I would jump on both. Hola, Lilia, hello. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Hey, thanks for posting in the Masters Swim Team page. Awesome. It's really bright, isn't it? I don't know how to turn that light down. The only thing I can think of is maybe back it up a little bit. And hi, everybody here on the coaching page. I am not ignoring you, and I can see down here that you guys can't really see these last two. But I'm going to go ahead and cover all of these, and please jump in. Hey, Darlene. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Sbo. How are you? Please jump on, ask questions as you have them, because like I said, I think that this applies in everyday life, not just athletically. So how to set your goals. Number one is they need to be personal. Okay, guys? This means and I guarantee you've had this, people will tell you what you should do or what you could try to do or what they think will be good for you. But if you don't want it, who cares, right? Who cares? Hey, Jennifer, thanks for hopping in. You need to have, for a goal to work, guys, you need to have the desire and the motivation, and that has to come from you. No one's going to instill that in you. And people say, oh, I'm such a motivator. Yeah, no, you know what? Those people are already kind of motivated, and you can help push that process along. But hey, Ryan. Hey, Hazel. Hey, Robin. Hey, guys. It's so good to see you all. This must be a good time. Oh, what? Because the Bears played earlier today, and now like there's no football on? Huh? Hey, Darlene. Oh, awesome. So anyway, yeah. Number one, the goal needs to be personal for you. You need to make it so that it has meaning for you. Again, if someone else tries to set a goal for you, it's likely not going to last. Hey, Charlene, you made it this time. Number two, and this isn't new, guys. You probably have all heard of or seen this before. They need to be SMART goals, right? And that's just an acronym for specific. In other words, your goal can't be, hey, I want to, run a 10K next year. There's so many things wrong about that particular goal. It's great if you want to run a 10K, but you need to be a little more specific than that. So something better would be, I want to run a 10K in January, okay? And then I want to run the 10K in January, and I want to hit XYZ time, okay? So you want to make it as specific as you can. It needs to be measurable. Again, hey, I just want to run a 10K. I guess that's measurable because you're saying, I want to run this distance. But let's just say, I want to have more organization in my life. Well, how do you measure organization? Is that a feeling? Is it a cleanliness? Is it a file system? Like, what exactly is it? You want to nail it down to as specific and measurable as you can. 10K next week. Really, Ryan? How's your leg? Hey, Nicole. Okay, attainable. Okay, so here you go, Ryan. A 10K next week might not be attainable for you given your, thing on your leg, spider bite thing. Please don't send any pictures. I don't want to see any more. Unless it's recovered, then it's okay. But so it needs to be attainable, right? So SMART has to be specific, has to be measurable, has to be attainable. That's another. I want to run 10K in 36 minutes. Well, for many of us, that's not attainable. As fast as you can ever be. So it needs to be something that you can reach. Now, I'm not saying that you can't shoot big, but it has to be reachable, and you may want to bring down a goal, hit it, and then make it a little tougher the next time through. It needs to be relevant. So what exactly is that you're trying to do, and what are you going to gain out of it? Make sure that you give yourself some relevance to the goal in order for it to be successful and have some meaning for you. And the last one is for it to be time bound. So to just say, hey, I want to run a 10K. Well, when? Next week? Next year? Next month? January? Right? When is it? I want to have more organization in my life. Well, when do you want to have that by? And so you've got to set. So whenever you write a goal, make sure, just check these 5 things out SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. If it meets all of those criteria, then you've got yourself a great goal. Thanks, Lilia. I appreciate it. Mary, how have you been, girl? Miss you. Okay, number 3, and I'm a big proponent of this one. Write it down, guys. Write it down. And, you know, with the electronic era that we're in, people think, oh, just, you know, type it in. And I've always write my things down. Always, always, always. There's something, I don't know, there's something mental, there's something about writing it versus just typing it in somewhere that makes it different. It makes it more real. And the other thing, it helps you visualize it. And one of the things that I've done in the past is not only just write it down, and that's not on here, but taping it to like my bathroom mirror or somewhere. Like I talked about a goal that I had to qualify for the Boston Marathon, and I talked about writing that time goal and sticking it on my computer at work. So something I had to look at every day. It stayed in my face, and that's where you want. Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate that. You think telling people helps? Jim, sometimes it's a personal, very private goal. I personally have had many, many goals that I don't share with anybody, but have reached a lot of them. So, and if you do share it with people, I think, that's a great question though. I think if you share it with people, you got to share it with the right people. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of people who maybe want to bring you down. Maybe you'll be jealous. Maybe won't be supportive. So I think if you're going to share it with people, you need to be very careful with who you share the goal with. I think that's a good one. Sharing with others. Yeah, Debbie. Yeah. So yeah, the right people. Exactly. I mean, we all have friends that are like, oh yeah, great. And then, oh, you better not shoot for that goal because XYZ, or you're not that good. What makes you think you can do that? And they'll give you like these little sometimes backhanded comments or slams, and you don't really need that. You don't need any negativity when you're talking about goals. And like I said, it's real personal. I can tell you right now that when I set my sights to qualify for Kona, I told nobody. There might have been one person that knew because we were training so hard together, but I never actually said it out loud to anyone that was my goal. It was, but I never said it. So it depends. Hey, Dan, how are you? Okay, number 4. You want to develop an action plan. So it's great to have a goal, but how are you going to get there? And sometimes it needs to be very specific. Sometimes you can have loose guidelines. Hey, Hazel, yes, share it with the right people, okay? With the right people who are going to support you and be positive. And I'll tell you, here's another thing, going back to that, and I'm going backward a second. I never share any of those goals with my family. Not that I don't love my family and all that, but they don't get it. They're not into it. They don't understand it. They'll be like, oh, that's great. You don't need, that's okay. It's okay. I know they support me in whatever I do, but you know, maybe just be careful with, you know, you want to share it with the right people who are going to support you and think it's great and cool, and be there whenever you know, when you have those days or even weeks maybe that you're not on track, or you don't feel so good, somebody that can like talk you off the ledge and make it, you know, help you keep your eye on the prize. So those are the kind of people that you want to share that goal with. Not that everybody else is, and they're not cool people, they're not great, and they're not good friends of yours, but if they just don't get it and they're not that supportive of maybe something that you want to do, you know, maybe I wouldn't share it with them. Okay, back to 4, developing your action plan. And so one of the things I do is I go backwards from it. So if my goal is to do this thing on this day at this time, let's just say it's by January 1st, I want to hit a certain goal. Maybe I want to run that 10K by January 1st. I first spot out my race. Maybe it's a December 31st, or maybe it's even a New Year's Day race, okay? So I take that day, and then I go backwards. I count the weeks, I count the days, and then by what week do I want to be able to do this or do that? Or by what day or week do I want to be able to do this? And write that down, and write all the things in between there that are going to have to take place, okay? So maybe my goal, to make it easy, I want to run a 10K in an hour. That's 10-minute miles. It's a little bit faster than 10-minute miles because it's 6.2. So, but right now, maybe I'm only running 10 30-minute miles. So how am I to get from 10-minute miles to, or 10 30-minute miles to 10-minute miles by January 1st? So work it backwards. It's called reverse engineering, guys. Anytime that I start with a goal with the end in mind, I go all the way back to where I am today and then write those pieces down, because you can't just snap your fingers and have it happen. There's a lot of bits and pieces that go into any particular goal that you're going to have like that. So how are you going to do it? The only goal I share is that I will get a beer at the end. Yeah, Daniel. Hey, I hope your training is going well. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Robert. So develop the action plan. And one thing I will tell you, don't be afraid to change the action plan as you go. Not everything's going to be perfect. And what you write down, let's just say you make that goal and you start it today or you start it tomorrow. It's Monday. People like to start goals on Monday. Let's say you write it on Monday and in 2 weeks something happens and you have to change. You have to adjust the goal. So start with a plan, but don't be afraid to make changes to that plan as you see necessary. It doesn't have to be strict on paper bold, and if you miss it in 2 weeks, you're not to the time that you wanted to be. Oh, crumple it up, throw it away, I need a new goal. You don't need to do that. You just have to make simple adjustments along the way. You just finished swimming, Charlene. Yes, awesome. Let me tell you my swimming story from Saturday. I'll tell you, it was really kind of scary. Good way, because it gives you real expectations going backwards. I like that. Yes, Lily, I mean, right? And think about it. It's like anything. It's like, so when you start training for a marathon, you don't just say 6 months earlier, I'm going to start training for a marathon, and you start running. You map it backwards. Where do you want the taper to be? Where do you want that 20 miler to be? How are you going to get to that 20 miles? And what are you going to do in those weeks between? So you need to map it all out. But it's called reverse engineering. You start with the end in mind. Can we include wine at the end too? Yes, Janine, you can include wine at the end too. Absolutely. Okay, number 5. This one's really important too, guys, is to stay on the path. Especially, let's just say, and I know not everybody here is on Ironman, and I know I keep doing all these athletic references, right? But I'll give 2. So athletic, let's just say you want to do an Ironman, and I don't think Kevin is on here at this point, Kevin Slanicki, but he's set his sights on doing an Ironman next year, and that's like a year away. It's very hard to stay focused for an entire year. That's a really long time, okay? So what you want to do is make sure that you have check-in points or reminders or have a why. Everybody needs a why. Why do you want to do something? Let's go with something that is more, let's say work-related. You want to get a promotion, and it's going to take you a year. Okay, but why? And like, what's important? But you have to have check-ins along the way. I want to reach, senior sales manager within a year. Well, where are you today? And what are the things that you need to do? What are the qualifications you need? What are the benchmarks you need to have to get from today to that senior sales manager, whatever it is, that role that you want? Hey, Eric. Hey, Nora. Hey, Nora, you made it. So you want to stay on the path. You want to have check-ins along the way. So maybe, especially if your goal is a year long, you don't want to just not check in for a whole entire year. You check in like maybe every 2 weeks. Maybe it's every month. Where are you at? So if it's a goal of, say, weight loss, and you want to lose, 20 pounds, and you think it's going to take you a year, or maybe it takes you 6 months. Well, you got to check in every couple weeks, every month. What's it going to be? And I would have that on a calendar, and again, I would write that down. Did you make those goals? And when you are looking at that at the check-in point, where are you? Did you make it? Did you not make it? Well, why not? What do you need to change to make that next checkpoint? Maybe you need to change things around to be able to make it. So those are them. Let me just kind of go over them real quick. How to set goals. This athletically great, but this also applies to life in general. So how to set goals. They have to be personal. They have to be your goals. So it's like the kid in high school whose parents are like, you're going to go to college. You're going to go to an Ivy League school. Maybe that's not your goal. Well, how hard is it to reach somebody else's goal? That's somebody else's goal that they have for you. The goal needs to be yours. It needs to be personal. You need to have motivation. You have to have some kind of personal attachment to that goal. Hey, Matt, how are you? Okay, number 2, SMART goals. This isn't new. I didn't make this stuff up. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. SMART. So any single goal needs to meet these 5 criteria. Has to be specific, has to be measurable, has to be attainable. Don't go, hey, I'm going to qualify for the Olympics, right? If you're not at that level. Has to be relevant and has to be time bound. So anytime you guys make a goal, make sure it meets all of those requirements. And it's simple to change a goal. So if you have a goal and you bump it up against these requirements and it doesn't make it, just make some edits. Just change it. You can change it. I give you permission. Hey, Lana. Hey, Eric, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, number 3, again, is write them down. Me personally, I don't know, it's very therapeutic, but there is some science behind that. Anytime, a couple things. When you write it down, it makes it more real. You remember it better. But I also like to write it down and then post it up on somewhere. Maybe it's on my fridge, maybe it's on my computer, maybe it's in my bathroom mirror, wherever it is. Maybe it's on my dashboard in my car, something that I'm going to see every day. Keep it front of mind. That's how you're going to achieve that goal. Number 4, develop an action plan. Don't just go in blind and say, oh, I want to do that Ironman next year, woohoo, and you have no plan. Because halfway through you'll be like, ooh, wait, I never really started that when I should have, huh? So you want to develop a plan and you want to go backwards. So however many days, even if it's in a week, right? Or even, like, let's just say it's the end of the day. You have a big to-do list that you have, and you want to make sure you get all these to-dos by the end of the day, end of business day, right? Well, you better start writing the goals down and what you need to have done by what time of day, right? Hey, Dan, great tips. Keep negative people out of your circle. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's about sharing the goal. I'm very careful with who I share things, especially, when it comes, it just depends. Just depends. Make sure you share with the right people. So make sure you develop your action plan, reverse engineer it. I want to beat Jim Quirk in a full Ironman. That's realistic. Ooh, Robert, those are fighting words. I'm going to pretend I didn't read that one. Mail the written goal to yourself and other relevant people. Oh, I like that one, Ryan. That's kind of cool. I like that. If you forget about it, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to forget. My goals are right up here every day thinking about it. Depends on how important the goal is. And then number 5 is to stay on the path, to make sure you provide yourself with certain check-in points. Make sure you're on path. And if you're not on path, change the path. Change it to make sure that you do meet that goal, right? How important is it to you? It's real easy for me to write down a bunch of goals and then be like, oh yeah, I didn't really want that one anyway. I mean, so if it's really important to you, going back to number 1, if someone else tried to make a goal of me to, let's say, get back to racing in the last couple of years, that was your goal for me. That wasn't my goal for me. So yeah, I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. No, I really am not going to do it. Has to be important. Has to have some personal meaning for you. Hey, Tom. Hey, oh, you probably didn't get it, but I did mail you that thing I told you about, so check your mail. Hey, Alyssa, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. And then number 5, like I said, stay on the path, do your check-ins, have your reminders, make sure you have a why to any goal that you are going to set. So, all right, guys, what kind of questions do you have? I'm here. There's a lot of people online. Let's start chatting it up. What kind of questions do you have? If you don't want to share them with others, at least say them out loud. You could do that. Sure. There's a lot of power in hearing yourself speak your goals and use visualization. Oh, visualization. Yes. That when I talked about writing them down, that's a big thing that I do is visualize it. Oh, so when I used to think about like a goal I had for time and a running race, I would imagine myself at the end of any training run, throwing up my arms and looking at a clock. The clock wasn't really there. Looking at a clock and seeing that time that I wanted. And yeah, it worked. Write goals down every Sunday night. Ooh, girl, that's discipline. That's awesome. That way they're frequent and consistent. But yes, that is great. I love it. Remember why you came to a workshop and we talked about goal setting. And yes, Debbie, of course I do. I know that. Yes, when I came to that workshop. And yeah, and you look how far you've come in that. I don't remember how many years ago that was, but you've come a long way. Your goal is Muncie. Too soon to plan? Absolutely not, Lilia. Absolutely not. You got to start now, for sure. What's your goal, MJ? Nora, did I say I was going to share? I have many goals. Oh, that's another. I have many goals. Which goal are you referring to? My goal has not been racing, obviously, in the last few years. So, but I will tell you right now that the goals that I have been working on the last few years, it's going on. Yeah, because I write it down. Hey, Gabriel. Nice to see you. Come on, guys. What kind of questions do you have? Because I am going to hop off here. I've been on for like 20 minutes only. I'll stay on for 5 more minutes if you have any kind of questions or anything that I can do to kind of help you reach your goals. It's really hard. And if you do want to share a goal with me, I will be your #1 supporter. I am never one to crush somebody's goal. Can I Kona qualify in Louisville at 2017? Eric, are you asking me? I don't know. I mean, if you'd like to discuss that with me and I can go and stalk your results for some past races, yeah, we can talk about that. But I love that goal. That's a fun one, and I love Louisville. I have to come up with one for myself. Yeah, Nora, well, you've got the marathon coming up. Do you have a goal for that? right? You've got to have some kind of goal, even if it's just to finish. Oh, that's another thing, and I didn't write that down here. When I do a goal, particularly for a race or when I work with my athletes, I talk about goals, having a goal, having an A, B, and a C goal, especially when I'm talking about first-time Ironman athletes or marathoners, right? Your A goal is the supreme. Everything goes perfect. You are spot on. You've got perfect weather. Everything falls into place. You're just having the best day of your life. That's your A goal. That's your dream, right? Nothing can get in your way. B is maybe you didn't get enough of sleep the night before. Maybe you misplaced a little bit of your nutrition. Maybe you got a late start to the race. You were running and you were really nervous. Okay, so that's your B goal. Something little bit goes off track. So it's not your perfect, ideal, everything goes right day, but it's a little bit, right? And then your C goal, you've had a little bit of issues, you had a little bit of problems, and you're just going to finish that race. So you still are reaching a goal, right? A, B, C. I kind of like to do it that way. Can I train to go 49, 0, and 100 free to be ready for Muncie, or should I not? Ryan, I think you can do both, depending on, are you talking about state? I think you can do both. Got those for the marathon. A, B, C. I haven't, in fact, hit my A goal. Yeah, see, Kevin, that works, right? I know. So, because, and the reason I'll tell you that is back when I first started racing and my first Ironman, I had an A goal. I didn't have any B's and C's, and I didn't come close to the A goal. And it's really easy at that point to give up. Well, I didn't meet my time, so I might as well start walking this marathon. Well, no, come on, no. There's got to be enough, got to hit that under that next hour, or I got to beat so-and-so, or, I've got to make sure that I hit a certain pace, or I do a run walk. I don't want to walk that entire, last half marathon of that race. So there's always got to be something else to reach on to or grasp for. I have a goal for Chicago Marathon. I'm a slow runner, so I want to finish at 5:30. Last year was a 5:59. Oh, I think you can do that. You could do that. Well, I don't know enough about your training, but if you put in the training and you put in the work, you should have a very realistic goal, barring no injuries or ridiculous weather or something crazy. You should have a pretty good idea if you can hit that goal. Again, back to the realistic or relevant. Realistic? Wait. Attainable. I think I called it attainable here. Smart for attainable. A for attainable. Seagulls end up leading to... Yes, Kevin, I agree with you 100%. And I also think that when the going gets tough and you don't give up, that makes you a much better athlete and a much better person moving forward. I mean, again, it doesn't just apply to athletics. I know I keep going back to races and stuff like that. But anybody who's ever gone through a hard time in their life and has had a goal and had a really rough time going, achieving it, but they keep going and they don't quit and they don't give up, once they finally get it, it makes them so much stronger. Hey, Judy, how are you? Dan, doing Naperville Marathon in a few weeks, goal 4 hours and not to be pouty pants at 18. Oh my gosh, yes, Dan, 18, 19, 20, 21. Those are some tough miles. I don't care who you are. I don't care how fast or slow you are. When you're on your feet for that long, I mean, I guess if you're a Ken, you're not really on your feet that long, but I think it's tough for anybody. And I mean, and that's when it really, the mental toughness is going to start to kick in. And I did a video on mental toughness tips a week or two back. So go back and watch that before the marathon and try and get some notes down on that. Hi, Michael. Thanks for hopping on. I think I'm about to get off here. Any other questions? But that's just it. So I am here on the personal page, not in the coaching page. I'm on there too, but nobody's really on there because you're all here. I don't know. It's really weird. I guess I won't stay on the coaching page. I guess I'll stay here for a while because I want to be able to give you guys some tips and help you, be better athletes, be better people in life. And these are just some really easy ways to help you set some goals. Our first Ironman was the same one. It was a ridiculous one for Eagles. You need yeah, Kevin, I can't see the rest of your comment because I have to click it, but I'm too far. But yeah, Ironman Wisconsin 2005, super tough. I'm glad I finished. It would have been really easy to quit, and nobody would have thought anything less because the DNF rate was so high that day. How do you determine time frames? A marathon 18 weeks. What is the time frame for a half Ironman? Ooh, Darlene, good one. I think time frames are different for everybody, and a lot has to do with your ability, your experience, and your what exactly your goal is. Is it just to finish, or do you have like a more of aggressive a goal in mind? And how much time you have available to train. So that's a very loaded question. You can't just, and I know that like Kara picks out, the Hal Higdon program and it's 18 weeks for a marathon. Not everybody needs that. Some people need more, some people need less. That's just a very standard cookie cutter, and I don't believe in one size fits all. It's why I became a coach. I think that a lot of people, it will be very successful, and I think you could get through your marathon that way. Are you going to have the best marathon that you can possibly have by following that plan? Probably not. I mean, maybe as a newbie, but as you get more experience, and you'll know that, and you'll be like, well, I should do this, or I could do that, and my time needs to be this. So, but that's a great question. I love it. 398 DNF. I thought there was more than that, Jim. Awesome. Lilia, 18 weeks for me is too long. Right. Well, Lilia, you're an experienced marathoner. You don't need that anymore. And I also think it depends on what level you are when you start into that training. So with that Hal Higdon plan for Kara, they say that your long run should be at least 6 miles. Well, your long run is probably more than 6 miles at that point in the season. So yeah, you don't need 18 weeks to train for it. But those are some great questions, you guys. All right, thank you so much for hopping on. I plan on being back every Sunday night at 7. As long as you guys keep coming here and sending some questions, I'll be on here to give you guys some little tips. If you have ideas, suggestions that you want to see me talk about or want to hear about, or anything that can help you personally as an athlete achieve or excel at, please don't hesitate to type in the comments. I will be reading all these afterwards. Share with anybody that you think could use some help and some goal setting. I know we all have friends like that. Just say, oh, here's a great video, just check this out. And then you don't have to do the goal setting for them. Let them do it themselves. As I started with number 1, it needs to be personal. You can't set the goal for them. They have to set the goal for themselves. And then I also plan on being here on Wednesday night. So some of you better show up this Wednesday because you weren't around on last Wednesday night. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.